Imagine a life where you wake up every day with an unshakable sense of self-worth, completely free from the need for anyone else's approval. A life where you set your own standards, define your own happiness, and aren't swayed by others' opinions or expectations. Sounds liberating, right? In this video, we're diving deep into powerful Buddhist principles that will teach you how to approve of yourself, break free from the chains of comparison, and reclaim control over your life. Ready to transform how you see yourself and unlock a life of true freedom. Let's get started. 1. Stop seeking validation from others. Buddha taught that true peace comes from within, not from external sources. Seeking validation from others only places your self-worth in their hands. Instead, cultivate a sense of self-respect and inner peace that doesn't rely on anyone else's approval. Remember, your worth is not defined by what others think of you. 2. Don't let criticism define you. Criticism can be helpful, but it should never define who you are. Buddhist teachings encourage us to accept feedback without allowing it to shape our identity. Take criticism as information, not as a judgment on your character. Let it flow around you, not through you, and focus on your own values and growth. 3. Don't let rejection break you. Rejection is a natural part of life. Whether it's not getting the job you wanted, facing disapproval from others, or feeling left out, rejection is something we all go through. Buddhism teaches us that rejection doesn't define our value. Instead, it reflects others' perspectives, experiences, and needs, which may not align with our own. In Buddhism, there's a powerful idea of letting go of attachments, including our attachment to being accepted by others. When we place too much importance on others' approval, we give them the power to control our happiness. By letting go of the need to be accepted, we free ourselves from this control and become more resilient. When you experience rejection, view it as a redirection rather than a failure. Each rejection can guide you to new opportunities and help you better understand your strengths and path. Instead of seeing it as a personal setback, try to see it as life guiding you towards something more suited to who you truly are. Embrace rejection as a stepping stone that leads you closer to your purpose, without letting anyone else determine your worth or define your journey. So next time you feel the sting of rejection, take a deep breath. Remember that it's just one person's perspective, and use it to refocus on your own path. Rejection doesn't close doors. It simply shows you a different direction. Treat it as a chance to grow and to stay true to yourself. 4. Set boundaries and stick to them. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your life and protect your inner peace. Think of boundaries as invisible lines that separate your personal values, emotions, and time from others' influence. When you don't have clear boundaries, people may unknowingly or knowingly take advantage of your time, energy, and kindness, which can drain you emotionally and make you feel out of control. In Buddhism, there is a strong emphasis on self-respect and compassion, not only towards others, but towards yourself. Boundaries are a way of practicing self-compassion. They help you communicate your needs clearly to others and allow you to protect what matters most to you, your mental and emotional well-being. For example, if someone is constantly negative or disrespectful toward you, setting a boundary might mean letting them know you won't engage in negative conversations or distancing yourself from them to preserve your peace. Boundaries can be as simple as saying no when you don't have the capacity to help, or as firm as choosing to walk away from relationships that no longer serve your growth. The key is to stick to them. When you set a boundary, you must be clear, consistent, and firm. Often, people will test these boundaries, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. But remember, sticking to your boundaries isn't about being harsh or unkind. It's about honoring your needs and valuing your time. In Buddhism, practicing detachment can help us hold firm to our boundaries. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It simply means you don't let their opinions, demands, or behaviors control you. When you're detached in this way, you can say no without feeling guilty or fearful of others' reactions. Boundaries become easier to uphold because they come from a place of inner strength and self-awareness. Another essential part of setting boundaries is being honest with yourself. Reflect on what really matters to you and what you need to feel balanced and fulfilled. Boundaries should align with your values and goals so that you're not just reacting to others, but proactively protecting your well-being. Boundaries help create a space where you can grow freely, unburdened by the weight of others' expectations. They give you the freedom to focus on your own path and live a life that's true to you. By setting and maintaining these boundaries, you build resilience, self-respect, and the freedom to live authentically. 5. Take responsibility for your emotions. Taking responsibility for your emotions means understanding that while you may not be able to control what happens to you, you can always control how you react. In life, we often encounter situations where others' words or actions might trigger feelings of anger, sadness, or frustration. However, Buddhist teachings remind us that these emotions are ours to manage. They arise from within us and reflect our own state of mind more than the external situation. In Buddhism, there's a concept known as self-mastery, which is the idea that true peace and happiness come from within and cannot be granted or taken away by others. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you stop allowing external situations to dictate your mood or actions. This practice requires mindfulness, being fully aware of what you feel in each moment without reacting impulsively. For example, if someone says something hurtful, rather than reacting immediately, take a deep breath and observe how the words affect you internally. Ask yourself, why does this trigger me? This simple pause allows you to recognize your feelings without letting them control you. Emotions are natural. Everyone feels hurt, joy, anger, and sadness. But by owning these emotions, you empower yourself to process them constructively. Taking responsibility means you don't blame others for how you feel, nor do you let them control your reactions. If you're angry, it's because something within you feels disturbed. And while someone's actions may have sparked it, the anger itself is yours to handle. This practice fosters inner strength, helping you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting with anger or resentment. Another part of taking responsibility is learning to detach from expectations. Often, our negative emotions stem from unmet expectations of how we think people should act or situations should unfold. When we hold tightly to these expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Buddhism teaches us to release these rigid ideas and approach each moment with acceptance. By detaching from how you think things should be, you free yourself from the constant roller coaster of emotions tied to circumstances you can't control. Taking responsibility for your emotions also means learning to self-soothe and finding constructive outlets for stress or frustration. Instead of letting emotions fester or projecting them onto others, practice meditation, journaling, or simply taking time to reflect. These tools allow you to process your emotions in a safe and positive way, helping you gain insights into your inner self and uncover the reasons behind your feelings. At its core, taking responsibility for your emotions is an act of self-respect. It shows that you value your inner peace and well-being enough to protect it, regardless of external influences. When you own your emotions, you're not at the mercy of others' words or actions. You become grounded, unshaken by the ups and downs of life, and able to respond with compassion and clarity. This sense of control empowers you to create a life where peace comes from within, no matter what happens around you. 6. Don't let comparison steal your joy. Comparison is one of the quickest ways to drain happiness and create unnecessary suffering. When we compare ourselves to others, whether it's their success, relationships, appearance, or lifestyle, we often end up feeling like we're falling short. Buddhism teaches us that happiness and inner peace come from within, not from measuring ourselves against others. By understanding the unique value of our own journey and practicing self-contentment, we can protect our joy from the trap of comparison. At its core, comparison is rooted in attachment, an attachment to the idea of how things should be or how we believe we should measure up to others. This attachment creates dissatisfaction, envy, and even resentment because we become fixated on what we lack rather than what we have. Buddhism encourages us to let go of these attachments, as clinging to them only increases our suffering. Instead, by embracing the present moment and appreciating our unique journey, we free ourselves from the heavy burden of comparison. One effective way to release the habit of comparison is to practice gratitude. When we regularly reflect on what we are grateful for, our focus shifts from what we lack to what we already have. This doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for more or set goals, but rather we approach our ambitions from a place of appreciation, not lack. By valuing what we have, we build a strong foundation of self-worth that isn't easily shaken by others' achievements or lives. Another essential Buddhist teaching to keep in mind is that everyone's journey is different. People come from different backgrounds, face different challenges, and are at different stages in life. Comparing your progress to someone else's is like comparing apples and oranges. Each individual's path is unique, and each experience has its own timing. When you look at someone's success, remember that you are only seeing a snapshot, not the whole picture. They, too, face struggles and insecurities that you may not be aware of. Buddhism encourages compassion toward others and understanding that everyone is on their own path, working through their own lessons. Comparison can also steal your joy by creating a feeling of competition with others. Rather than viewing others' successes as something that takes away from your own, try to reframe it as inspiration. When you see someone achieve something you admire, use it as a reminder of what's possible, not as proof of your own shortcomings. Let their success motivate you to work towards your own goals while staying true to your own values and pace. In Buddhism, the concept of equanimity, remaining calm and balanced regardless of what happens around you, is fundamental. By practicing equanimity, you learn to accept both your achievements and your setbacks with grace. This mindset allows you to appreciate your own growth without needing it to look like anyone else's. When you let go of the need to compare, you free yourself to live in the present and find joy in the small, unique moments of your own life. Lastly, remember that true joy comes from accepting yourself as you are. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of self-compassion and self-acceptance, rather than focusing on how you measure up to others. Turn your attention inward and appreciate the qualities that make you uniquely you. By nurturing self-acceptance, you build a sense of self that doesn't rely on outside validation or comparisons. This self-acceptance becomes a source of lasting joy, one that isn't threatened by what others have or do. So, the next time you catch yourself comparing, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for in my own life? What qualities do I have that I appreciate? By shifting your focus inward, you reclaim your joy and keep it safe from the pitfalls of comparison. Embrace your journey, honor your own path, and remember that true happiness comes from within, not from how you stack up against others. 7. Practice self-approval daily. Practicing self-approval means learning to validate yourself rather than seeking validation from others. When we rely on external praise or approval to feel worthy, we give away our power, leaving our happiness and sense of self-worth vulnerable to others' opinions. In Buddhism, self-approval is rooted in self-compassion and self-acceptance, qualities that allow us to cultivate inner peace and resilience, independent of the judgments or expectations of others. Self-approval is not about arrogance or believing that we are better than others. Instead, it's about recognizing our own worth, accepting ourselves as we are, and trusting in our abilities and values. Buddhist teachings encourage us to turn inward for affirmation. The more we connect with our inner selves and understand our unique strengths and limitations, the less we need others to tell us that we are enough. By practicing self-approval, we become the primary source of our happiness and security. One practical way to cultivate self-approval is through daily affirmations. Start each day by affirming your strengths, values, and goals. Remind yourself of qualities you appreciate about yourself and the positive actions you're committed to taking. For instance, You might say, I am capable, I am growing, and I am doing my best. These affirmations are gentle reminders that reinforce your self-worth and reduce the need for outside validation. Over time, they help you build a mindset of self-assurance that isn't swayed by others' opinions. Another effective tool is self-reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on your actions, choices, and how you handled various situations. Instead of focusing on external feedback, ask yourself, am I proud of how I acted today? Did I stay true to my values? This allows you to assess yourself based on your own standards rather than anyone else's. Self-reflection helps you identify areas of growth and celebrate your progress, reinforcing the habit of self-approval from within. Buddhism also emphasizes detachment from perfection. One reason we struggle with self-approval is that we set unrealistically high standards for ourselves and are harsh when we don't meet them. Instead, practice compassion toward yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes, learn, and grow without harsh self-criticism. By accepting that imperfection is a part of the journey, you let go of the need to meet impossible standards and find approval in your efforts and intentions. Another key aspect of self-approval is living authentically. The more you align your actions with your values, the easier it becomes to approve of yourself. Buddhism teaches us to be true to ourselves, to make decisions based on our own beliefs, not on what others expect. When you make choices that reflect who you truly are, self-approval becomes natural because you're honoring your own truth. Authenticity brings peace as you are no longer compromising your values to fit others' standards or expectations. Self-approval also requires forgiveness. There will be times when you fall short of your own expectations. Rather than punishing yourself, practice forgiveness and learn from these experiences. Self-forgiveness is a powerful act of compassion that lets you move forward without the weight of guilt or regret. This forgiveness nurtures resilience and allows you to keep approving of yourself even in difficult times. Lastly, mindfulness is an invaluable practice for developing self-approval. By being fully present with yourself, you become more aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Mindfulness helps you observe how often you seek external validation and encourages you to shift that focus inward. As you become more attuned to your own thoughts, you can catch moments where you might criticize or doubt yourself, replacing these thoughts with self-acceptance and self-kindness. In practicing self-approval daily, you're not only building a stronger, more resilient sense of self, but you're also freeing yourself from the constant need for external validation. Over time, self-approval creates a foundation of inner peace and happiness that doesn't depend on others. So take a few minutes each day to affirm your worth, reflect on your progress, and honor the unique path you are on. This practice will empower you to live with confidence, resilience, and a deep sense of self-love. Taking control of your life starts within. By following these Buddhist principles, you empower yourself to live authentically, beyond the influence of others. Remember, the power to define your life lies with you. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you'll do to take back control today? Until next time, stay grounded and stay true to yourself.